Is everybody good?
Good.
All right, good.
We're
Any
gonna-
instructions?
Yes, we're just going to give you an opportunity to do your presentation, and then there's just a couple of board questions.
All right, awesome. All right, well, good evening. My name is Eric Simkin. I would like to thank all parents, residents, board members, administration, staff, and guests for the opportunity to address you regarding being considered for appointment to the Board of Education. I am a proud resident and member of the Voorhees community for 3 years. I have no intention on moving in the foreseeable future. I first attended a Voorhees board meeting in August of 2021. I, like many parents, was watching my high school age children suffer during the pandemic and had concerns as to whether their district would be returning to in-person learning for 2021 or 22 school year. I was considering moving my children to Voorhees. I wanted to check out what was happening in the K-8 district as sort of a climate check for what I may expect at Eastern Regional High School. After seeing how the board was functioning, I simply couldn't turn away. And I realized that there was a lack of transparency between the public school system and the public community it serves here in Voorhees. The superintendent search was underway, and the search firm HYA was hired to fulfill the role as an outsourced recruiting firm. Mr. Redfern had already answered the call and took over the helm as an interim superintendent, and I applaud Mr. Redfern for his stepping up and filling such a critical role. I've heard nothing but compliments and gratitude from the community and staff. I do want to paraphrase from the Voorhees Sun article published on October 14th, 2021, after the candidate meet and greet. Ms. Watson and Ms. Van Aken reviewed their accomplishments, implementing full-day kindergarten, beginning construction for a new kindergarten facility at Crescent, the board's handling of the pandemic, and addressing the dismissal of the previous superintendent in May. Ms. Watson, alluding to the transparency being given with the superintendent search, stated, "We are going to have a ton of community involvement. There will be some task force, some community groups that will be focus groups to help educate our decision." In response to the article, in my opinion, the Crescent project is a flop and potentially a waste of $4 million. The facts were hidden from the public. And furthermore, the superintendent search and hiring process has lacked transparency after the beginning stage. And now that we're appointing the superintendent after a closed session closed to the public decision process. It seems there's been a quasi-executive branch formed on this board based on my observations and research, and I have witnessed a total lack of transparency in response to multiple inquiries and proposals myself and other members of the community have made to this board. I propose establishing public advisory committees for curriculum development, policy review and enforcement, and vendor vetting. I have received no response from the board. I stand against this form of governing body for our public school district as a monopoly seated in the spirit of autocracy. The public has and is being shut out of many critical decisions, leaving these decisions to be made by few behind closed doors that will affect many. I'm seeking appointment to offer a fact-based viewpoint, opinion, and voice to all members of our community. I bring 30 years of business experience across a diverse range of industries. I consider the public school system a business. I believe the community is the primary stakeholder. The district must provide the absolute best education possible, free of cost and free of force-fed, socially constructed ideals that in many cases conflict with the family values that have been passed down by countless generations of families in our community. I come from a family with deep roots in public education and spiritual leadership. My mother was a 5th grade teacher, elementary school principal, and director of special services of a local school district, while my father was a high school principal. I know how a school district should operate. I've raised 2 incredible children. I've helped raise 2 incredible children. I care about my community and every member within it. I can remain impartial. I know the laws, rules, policies, and bylaws that are to be adhered to. I'm committed to providing the absolute best education to each and every child who attends Voorhees Township Public Schools. In accordance with the Code of Ethics for school board members, I would confine my board action to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I'll help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them, the public community. And whether or not, as board members, you choose to appoint me on this board this evening or not, I will run for the board in November. And if we did use any of the most recent public vote as a gauge when considering this appointment, clearly Ms. Adele and Ms. Wellings would be appointed, and for certain, Ms. Ketover would not be appointed, nor myself, since this vote is not being made by the public. Thank you for your consideration.
What do you think is the most important responsibility of a board member?
The most important responsibility is the hiring of a superintendent.
What unique characteristics would you bring to the board?
I would be bringing an alternate source of information, data, news sources, in order to help make decisions on policies, curriculum that make sense. Even when those that don't make sense are being made, or whether they are, I feel that I can bridge that gap and communicate and bring people together to realize that there are opposing views, and those opposing views can be bridged to work together for the better of everybody.
Thank you.
Can you describe your position on diversity, equity, and inclusion, including race and gender identity?
Sure. I feel like diversity is sort of a self-descriptive word. I realize the diversity of our and most communities, and I feel that everyone, of course, has equal opportunities to enjoy the same things as every member of a community or group. Inclusion, I believe in. However, I don't like when groups are formed that exclude other individuals or groups. So I do like to see inclusivity, assuming that everyone is able to participate in those types of groups. And equity, I feel that everyone has an equal opportunity, and equality is about opportunity. I do feel that equity has been portrayed as about outcome. I understand equity as far as gender and race. I just don't like to see people that have capabilities be passed over for any reason that they can't control.
Can you describe your philosophy on leadership and institutional culture?
Okay. Institutional culture really should be framed around driving the success of whatever that institution is doing. Leadership should be a person or group of people that can help frame policies, make decisions that will positively impact the most amount of people, if not all the people within the organization, and always be striving to do your best.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and you can now rejoin the audience.
Thank you.